The security system chirped softly as Marcus Chen finished his evening tea, the notification barely registering in his consciousness. Living on the outer rim of human colony Kepler 442b meant false alarms were common. Wind-blown debris, curious local fauna, or glitches in the aging sensor grid. He almost ignored it entirely. Then he heard the water running. Marcus set down his cup with deliberate care, his engineering-trained mind immediately cataloging possibilities. No scheduled maintenance, no roommates, no guests. The sound was coming from his guest bathroom, the one he rarely used since moving to this isolated research station 6 months ago. He moved quietly through his modest habitat, bare feet silent on the recycled polymer flooring. The bathroom door stood slightly, ajar, warm steam drifting through the gap. Inside, he could hear something that made his breath catch. Soft, desperate sobbing mixed with what sounded like relieved gasps. Marcus had spent enough time among various alien species during his xenoengineering studies to recognize the universal sounds of distress and relief. Whatever was in his bathroom wasn't human, but it was definitely sentient. "Hello?" he called softly, not wanting to startle whoever or whatever was inside. The water immediately shut off. A long moment of silence stretched between them. "Please," came a voice, distinctly feminine despite its alien timbre. The universal translator in his habitat system rendered the words with trembling uncertainty. I didn't mean to intrude. I was just so dirty, and I smelled the clean water through your ventilation system. I haven't been able to wash properly in cycles." Marcus felt his heart clench. In his years working with interspecies relations, he'd learned that cleanliness held profound significance for most sapient beings. Not just hygiene, but dignity, self-worth, even spiritual meaning. "It's all right," he said, settling down outside the door. "You're not in trouble. What's your name?" A pause. "Zara, I was a researcher. Before." "Before what?" "Before the war came to my sector. Before my people scattered to the void. Before I became this." Her voice carried the weight of loss that Marcus recognized from his own family's refugee stories. "What do you need, Zara?" "Just to finish washing. Please. I know humans are known for their kindness to strangers, but I understand if you want me to leave. I have nothing to offer in return." Marcus considered this. Humans had indeed earned a reputation throughout the galaxy, sometimes as fierce warriors, sometimes as ingenious problem solvers, but increasingly as the species that inexplicably helped others without expecting payment. It baffled many alien civilizations, this human tendency toward compassion for strangers. "Take your time," he said. "The water's unlimited here, geothermal taps. When you're done, I'll have some food ready if you're hungry." He heard a sharp intake of breath. "You would feed me? But you don't even know what I am." Marcus smiled to himself. "I know you're someone who needed help, and now you're someone who's getting it. That's enough for me." While Zara finished her shower, Marcus prepared a simple meal with ingredients from his emergency stores. Nutrient paste enhanced with locally grown vegetables, shaped into something more appetizing than standard rations. He'd learned to cook for various species during his studies. Protein-rich and easily digestible seemed like a safe bet. When Zara finally emerged, Marcus kept his expression carefully neutral despite his surprise. She was clearly of the Caesarian people, tall, graceful, with iridescent blue-gray skin and large eyes that shifted color with emotion. Her clothes were torn and stained, but she carried herself with renewed dignity. "Thank you," she whispered, eyes now a deep amber that he suspected meant gratitude. "I feel like myself again." "Good," Marcus said simply, gesturing to the prepared meal. "Hungry?" As they ate together, Zara's story unfolded. She'd been a xenobiologist studying extremophile organisms when the hegemony wars reached her system. Her research station was destroyed, her colleagues scattered or killed. She'd been surviving in the wild for weeks, afraid to approach the human colony for fear of being turned away, or worse. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" she asked eventually. "Most species would have called security the moment they found an intruder." Marcus considered this. "My grandmother used to say that anyone desperate enough to break into a house just to get clean isn't someone to be afraid of. They're someone who needs help." He paused. "Besides, you asked permission to finish your shower. Even while trespassing, you were polite about it." Zara's coloring shifted to what he was learning meant amusement. "Your grandmother sounds wise. She was a refugee too once upon a time. She taught our family that dignity isn't something you can lose. It's something others can try to take from you, but you always have the power to reclaim it. Sometimes you just need someone to remind you it's still there." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment before Marcus spoke again. "I have a guest room if you need a place to stay while you figure out your next steps. And the colony is always looking for scientists, especially ones with your credentials." Zara's eyes cycled through several colors before settling on something that seemed to indicate hope. "You would do this? For a stranger who broke into your home?" Marcus shrugged. "You're not a stranger anymore. You're Zara, you're a researcher, you like long showers, and you're too polite for your own good. That's enough to start with." Later, as Zara settled into the guest room with borrowed clothes and a genuine smile, Marcus reflected on what his human colleagues would say about his decision. Some might call it naive or dangerous. Others would nod approvingly, understanding the peculiar human compulsion to help those in need. But Marcus knew the truth that his grandmother had taught him, that sometimes the most important engineering problem to solve wasn't mechanical or electronic. Sometimes it was simply how to rebuild someone's faith in the universe, one small kindness at a time. Outside, the alien stars of Kepler 442b wheeled overhead, indifferent to the small act of compassion that had just unfolded below. But in the quiet of his habitat, Marcus smiled, knowing that somewhere in the galaxy, the story would spread. Humans were still the species that would let you finish your shower first, then ask questions later. It was, he thought, not a bad reputation to have.